Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is your very own Fariha Farrukh. Welcome to 360 Digital. It was in the late hours of the night. The entire nation was sleeping peacefully, unafraid. But the enemy was awake. And so was our army. The enemy took advantage of the darkness of the night and attacked our country. What courage, what passion, what romance that was. Even today, hearing the stories of the martyrs and the warriors gives us goosebumps and makes our hearts restless. As that spirit still lives on, ready to pluck out the enemy's evil eye. With us today is the Lion of Pakistan Army, Sitare-e-Jurrat, Colonel retired Abdul Qadir, who has joined us. We will listen to his tales of bravery and also pay our tribute, heartfelt tribute to our heroes.
So sir, if we compare the two wars, the 65 to 71, do you think that people ever lost trust or faith in army?
65 war, I tell you, we were well prepared. We had received American equipment and better aircraft, even F-10, which was superior to the Indian, though we had about 150 aircraft, fighting aircraft, and India had about 500 and 130. But we Air Force was very well prepared. We fought very well. You must have heard about M.M. Alam, who shot 5, yes. And they supported the ground forces also. They attacked the advancing Indians. They destroyed their tanks and airfields also. So very commendable. There was so much, I tell you frankly, when I was joining and going to the operational area on the way, because Lahore was attacked, people were coming, they were waving and all. And they were on the roadside, big camps on which people had big ovens and all that. They were baking food, offering sweet meat, whatever. And they're cheering the and this didn't happen in 71 war. So the difference, but in both the wars, our troops and the young officers up to the rank of major, they fought very big. I tell you, no comparison with any other army of the world. Very motivated. You know how Major Aziz, Major Shafqat Baloch, they were responsible, I tell you frankly, otherwise we would have lost Lahore. They stopped Indian thrust across Lahore with just 2 battalions. A company, Aziz, they for 3 or 4 days, Indian brigades, the Darwa, whatever, they could not cross BRB Canal. And that's where they stopped Indian advance.
In an interview with the BBC, Sam Manekshaw said that the forces of Pakistan fought gallantly. Can you tell our viewers today, what was the reality?
Gallantly,
were we
yes, of course.
Or were our soldiers doing their best?
Sorry, as part of your question, I could, but I should sort of gather that what you want to sort of know. Our forces, I tell you, despite local population being hostile, these Mukti Bahanis, the means of communication were cut off. We had just one squadron of Air Force, 14 aircraft, F-86, as compared to F-10, much superior. And then artillery was short, tanks were short, and we had firstly, initially, only one division, which was right from our independence. It remained till 71, we had only one division. Fortunately, India never attacked even 65 or subsequently, but that's the position was. But later on, after this revolt by the Bengalis, some more troops were thrown. So there were another 2 divisions and another 1 or 2 ad hoc divisions. Some ad hoc divisions you'll be very surprised to know had only 1 brigade and that brigade also with one battalion. And that, I tell you, that was our planning, that the main corridor from which the Indians could come right up to Dhaka was being defended by a Hawk division, commanded by Major General with one brigade and I think later on another battalion, 2 battalions. That was the main axis. And that brigade, when the Indians attacked in the Kumbila sector, that brigade was also withdrawn and sent there. So this whole area was open to enemy advance and all. And the second mistake that we made was that Bhutto or somebody advised that we should not let India capture even 1 inch of our territory, otherwise they declare Bangladesh. That was very stupid. So what happened was that we were very thin on the ground. I told you that firstly it was 1 division and 2 seasons. The area, the border with India in East Pakistan was about 4,000 kilometers as compared to West Pakistan, where the border with India is 3,000 kilometers. And all this 4,000 kilometers, we were spread out. A battalion which is normally deployed in 2 to 3 miles area to defend, they were spread over 30 to 50 miles. 10 on the ground, April 2, 10 people here, and another after 2-3 miles, 10 people. And also the Indians could easily infiltrate, or when they attacked, we could not repulse these small battalions. Despite that, even you were talking about General Manik Shah, there was a captain, a friend of mine later, we were together in 71 war. He stopped advance of India on a border post for 7 days. One company resisting a brigade attack. And Manik Shah, in a lot of his interviews, has mentioned Captain Ahsan Siddique as a very brave officer. And they were there in the trenches without food, without supply. And later on, when everything exhausted, ammunition was exhausted, they had to surrender and then it was captured. So we fought very well. When we declared surrender, we accepted surrender, and at that time, I tell you, I'll not go into much details. I was, about myself, I was, after my tenure in SSG, I went to Military College of Signals doing my telecommunication course. And after the course, I was posted there as an instructor. And I had hardly been there for about 3 months, and the war started. So, and I tell you frankly, I was a commando officer, and we don't know much about attacks and defense. We only do raids and go behind the enemy lines and all. So he said, okay, you take your people and I'll give you 2 companies. So, because the Indians had landed behind us,
right.
They had cut us from Dhaka. Between Dhaka and Bazar, they were about 3-4 kilometers away from us. So I have been going behind them, and I had seen their positions. I knew where they are. So he said that you carry out the attack. So when in the evening, I said, I gave orders that we'll collect there, and I'll give orders. I was called back, and Brigadier Saifullah, and you said, Qadir, I think we are all right here and all that. I was surprised. But then on the second day, the third day, they decided, yes, we'll launch a full-fledged attack.
Right.
And they kept delaying it. And finally, on 16th December, when I went there, I said there were empty trenches. There were no Indian troops. And I went to the GOC and I reported this. He said, Qadir, sorry, we have surrendered. And that was the end of it. That's the only thing I don't want sort of. But I tell you frankly, at the time of surrender, India had not captured a single fortified position, not a single brigade position, not a single town of any consequence. Only Jessore was abandoned by the brigade which was there, and they had gone to Khulna, and there they were defending. When my brother was in signals also, we both brothers fought the war, and he was in signals, and he was manning the wireless set which was communicating with the brigades. When this news was conveyed to them that we are surrendered, they abused him. Who told you that we surrendered? They did want to, and to the brigadier who was defending Khulna, he hit his head against the bunker. He was so perturbed, and he kept fighting till 17th or 18th of December, even after the surrender. We were at Neyman Singh, at Dhara Bazaar, so many places our forces were intact, fortified position. Well, we were able to continue fighting for another, say, 2 or 3 weeks, despite the Mukti. But the main thing is this, as I had told you, that the main center from where the Indian could come was only being defended by 2 battalions. And they were not, those 2 battalions were also not allowed to pull back. 1 battalion, 31st Baloch, when they were asked, they were, I think, in Jamalpur. They had fortified position, Indian had hit their heads, and they could not overrun that position. But they were told not to come back. They were responsible to defend Dhaka, those 2 battalions. So at that time, when they were ordered to defend, Indians were behind them. A brigade had blocked the position, and they suffered 200 casualties when they started coming back. And when they came back, I don't know what happened to them, there were 2. So the defense of Dhaka was left in the hands of these ragtag 2 companies which reached, and a battalion which was at Tagnair and all that.
Right.
But even then, I heard an interview, and I have quoted it in my article also, that General Jacob, who went to Dhaka and negotiated the terms of surrender and first ceasefire and surrender, I heard the interview, this interview, and he was saying that when Pakistan surrendered, General Niazi surrendered, we were only 3,000, we had only 3,000 troops in the outskirts of Dhaka.
Right.
The rest was still away, and we had about 26,000 troops, including some infantry units, signal units. Signal basically is a sporting arm, and they are trained to defend also, the use weapons. So was engineers. There were total, I proved that we could have defended. And then if we had decided to go into the city and in built-up area, we could have fought for months. But somehow or the other, the generals gave in. Otherwise, the troops were ready to fight despite the difficulty, lack of ammunition, lack of faith. The air fought very well. They destroyed our tanks, but then Indians destroyed the only airfield there, the function in Dhaka, through bombs and all. So it became unoperational, and they were grounded. So they left it, but they fought very. But the rest of the battle, we saw Indians coming and all that. There was nothing to sort of stop them.
Right.
There was a unit 6 night attack which destroyed quite a few tanks and all. But otherwise, without tanks, without much of artillery support, we continued fighting. Not only from 3rd December, the fighting actually started on 22nd November. Indian had launched an operation in the Jessore sector.
Right.
And we fought for three weeks, and we did not give in. Whereas in West Pakistan, what did we achieve? In 2 weeks, we had lost about 500 miles of the Sialkot sector, 500 villages Indians were able to catch.
So my question to you is, what message would you like to give to the youth of Pakistan who are being systematically injected a negative propaganda against the army? What message would you like to convey to the youngsters, to the youth as they watch you on the Defense Day? Sir,
it is recognized as one of the best armies of the world. Even now, the training, the motivation, the jazba-e-jihad and all is superb. But whenever there's another war, we'll fight the way we fought in 65, the way we fought in 71, with that spirit and all that. And we, the nation should have confidence in us, and they should stop sort of doing negative propaganda against the army. You are going to, even if there are some weaknesses or something which people don't like, they should not be propagated. You know, this is your army. There is nobody else who is going to defend you. You have to depend upon them. Whatever sort of you think about it and all that, the politicians, for their own nefarious ends and all, they sort of drag army into this politics, and then the one party starts blaming the army, the second, that sort of a thing, that should end.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir, and a very happy Defense Day to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me
It's an honor. It's an honor.
I'm happy. Thank you very much.